The story begins with a young man named Sean, handsome, calm, sharply dressed, walking down a quiet corridor of a luxury hotel. He was going to meet someone, though the heaviness in his eyes made it clear he wasn't excited. On the other side of the same building, a woman named Maria entered her reserved room. She looked elegant but visibly nervous, pacing, checking her reflection, rearranging her belongings. To steady her hands, she poured herself 2 patiala drinks, breathing slowly as if preparing for a long-awaited storm. Banged of a knock. Maria opened the door and found Sean standing there, young enough to be her son, confident enough to unsettle her completely. She stepped aside, and he entered gently, greeting her with a polite kiss on the cheek. The gesture surprised Maria. It had been years since anyone touched her with genuine gentleness. Sean understood people quickly. It was part of his work. Maria had hired him because she was lonely, broken, and desperate for some reminder of youth, of feeling alive. And Sean, well, he was someone who provided companionship for money, a role he played with discipline rather than desire. Maria tried to hide her nerves, but seeing Sean's youth made her feel painfully aware of her age. She confessed quietly, "My husband died 2 years ago, but even when he was alive, he never really saw me." Her voice trembled. "I never felt anything, no spark, no moment where I felt like a woman should." Sean listened carefully. From her words, he understood exactly what she wanted. Not physical thrill, but the feeling of being valued, seen, chosen. She tried to compliment him to ease her own embarrassment, telling him she found him charming, handsome. When Sean asked about her life, Maria opened up. She was a professor, mother of 2 grown children who barely visited her. Wheat broke suburb. Work and motherhood had consumed her life, leaving her alone in a house full of silence. Sean's presence made her feel both young and exposed. As they spoke, Maria hesitated again. She ran to the bathroom to change into something she had specially bought, something she hoped would make her feel beautiful again. But inside the mirror-lit room, doubts crashed over her. She felt foolish, too old, too broken to be doing this. Bound outside, Sean sat quietly, prepared, waiting, not with excitement, but with the weary acceptance of someone who did not enjoy the life he lived but had no choice but to continue. When Maria finally emerged, she looked fragile, eyes filled with fear more than anticipation. "If you want to leave, you can," she whispered. "I won't take the money back." Sean stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I'm not here to leave you halfway. My job is to make you feel better, to make you feel human again." His tone was gentle, not seductive, just honest. Maria's past suddenly spilled out. Her husband's emotional neglect, the loneliness of a woman who spent years being unseen. Tears welled up, and Sean held her as she trembled, not as a hired companion, but as someone offering a moment of comfort. Days later, Maria called him again, not because of desire, but because she finally felt warmth she had been denied for years. She made a list, things she had never experienced, emotional needs she had suppressed. She read it to Sean with shy determination, asking him not for pleasure, but for moments, dancing, talking, listening, feeling cared for. As she approached him, her phone rang. It was her daughter. Maria stepped aside to answer, her voice shaking between guilt and longing. Sean stood before the mirror while she spoke, staring at his reflection. His eyes were hollow. He hated this life, but he needed the money to survive, to support his mother, to pay debts that weren't his fault. When Maria returned, Sean saw a sadness in her eyes, so he played music on his phone. Maria had told him earlier that she loved dancing, though her husband had never once held her for even a single slow dance. Sean extended his hand. Maria hesitated, then took it. They danced in the soft hotel light, 2 broken people sharing a fleeting moment of warmth inside a world where both had forgotten what comfort felt like. For the first time in years, Maria danced with someone, really danced. Her body moved awkwardly at first, then slowly loosened as Sean guided her with patience. The dim hotel lights, the soft music, and the rain outside created a strange warmth between them. After the dance, Maria collapsed onto the sofa, tired but glowing. Sean sat behind her and began massaging her shoulders. His voice lowered, almost careful. "You can book me for longer. Maybe then your loneliness won't feel this heavy." Then Maria gave a bitter half-smile. I wish I could afford that. Yet she couldn't deny it. She liked having him near. She asked him to remove his shirt, and though Sean hesitated, he complied. His youth, his confidence, his presence, Maria felt the heat of everything she had lost with age. Sean slowly helped remove her outer layers too, but Maria turned away. "My body isn't beautiful anymore. My youth left long ago." Sean knelt in front of her, firm but gentle. "You're still beautiful. You just forgot how to see yourself." To ease her tension, they shared drinks again. The atmosphere softened. Their conversation drifted toward fantasies, not physical acts, but emotional ones. Maria confessed what she'd long buried, the desire to be held, spoken to, valued. Sean shared pieces of his world, the ugly parts of his work, how he pretended, how he endured. But their words grew deeper, darker. The rain outside intensified. Maria's loneliness cracked wide open, and she leaned closer, searching for the connection she never had in her marriage. Sean responded, drawn into the moment's emotional heat. But before anything progressed too far, Maria abruptly stopped and "Bon." She excused herself overwhelmed, then returned only to ask Sean questions about his life. She wanted intimacy of a different kind. The truth. She urged him to tell his mother about his work, about his real life. Sean froze. He didn't want that. He didn't want anyone touching the parts of him he kept locked away. Then Maria said something she shouldn't have. "I know your real name. The day I booked you, I learned everything." Blonde Sean's jaw tightened instantly. His eyes darkened. His entire posture shifted. He stood up sharply. "You had no right," he snapped. "Don't ever call me again." Yet Maria tried to stop him, but he walked toward the door. Still, she called him by his real name, softly, like someone who cared too much. Blamed Sean turned, anger burning through him. For a split second, his rage went so deep that violence flashed across his mind, but he held it back. Instead, he lashed out with words. "How would you feel if I told your children and students how you pay strangers just to feel alive?" But Bong's Maria had no reply. Her eyes fell. She spoke only one thing, quiet, trembling. "Every mother loves her child, Sean. Maybe talk to yours before it's too late." Sean stormed out, but moments later returned. He'd forgotten his phone. As he searched, something inside him cracked. "When I was 16, he muttered, voice shaking, "my mother threw me out. She didn't want me since then. I've been dead inside." His eyes were red, his hands unsteady. The truth had never left his lips before. Bond. He found his phone and left, insisting he would return Maria's money. Days later, Maria waited in another hotel room. She didn't know if Sean would come, but he did, more quietly, more human than before. She apologized first, thanking him for returning despite everything. "This is my job," Sean said, but his tone held a softness. Maria smiled. "Still, you made me feel things I thought were impossible." They talked, then went inside not as client and worker, but as two lonely souls needing warmth. Sean stayed without taking money. Maria didn't ask why. And as the rain whispered outside the windows, they held each other, not out of desire, but out of something far deeper, far sadder, and far more real.